is, at this stage, a lot of workers in the private sector, understandably, feel angry when they read the propaganda of this government and the preceding Labour government, which tries to make out that public sector workers get gold-plated pensions and so on. There are a number of points that we need to bring out. Firstly, there has been an absolute avalanche of cuts in the private sector. Wages have been driven down, pensions have been torn up, and understandably, many private sector workers, without even the chance now to join an effective trade union, feel that they have been picked on. But we'd have to say to public sector workers and private sector workers that even the Tories' own secret plans make plain that 600,000 jobs are going to go in the public sector, 700,000 in the private sector. The cuts seem very abstract at the moment, but for every private sector worker who thinks, well, civil servants or local government officers should experience a bit of what we've had to experience, need to remind themselves that in many families, you'll have one worker in the private sector, their partner works in the public sector, perhaps as a school dinner lady, perhaps as a library assistant, perhaps as a local government officer. Those two wages coming into the home make it possible to keep your head above water, to pay the mortgage, to pay the bills. And therefore we've got to get the point across that public and private sector workers have everything in common and mustn't allow themselves to be divided. We demand proper pensions for workers in the private sector. We oppose the winding up of the private sector pension salary schemes. For us, it doesn't matter whether you're an engineer, whether you're a civil servant. You're a working person. You're not in control of your own life. You've got a government of Tories and Liberals, aided and abetted by the former Labour government, who are all saying you have to take a cut in your living standards. And we're simply saying no. We don't accept that argument. So, to the public sector trade unions, we would argue they need to reach out to the private sector trade unions. And to those people in the private sector who are not yet in trade unions or work in small companies where trade unions have been declared illegal, we would say to them that your future lies in marching alongside and fighting alongside public sector workers to protect the services that you too rely on. Because whether you work in the private or the public sector, you want to have your dustbins emptied every week. You want to have decent education for your kids. You want to be able to know when you ring a government helpline that you can talk to a human voice and not a simple computer message. You want to be able to have decent public services. Those are provided by public sector workers. So we're all in this together. It's the working class and the middle class, for that matter, who stand to lose under these Tory attacks. And we say no. We stand together, we fight together, we shall stop these cuts from being enacted.